Hello, my name is Gina Ragland. I'm here today on behalf of AARP Nebraska to provide a tutorial and overview of the Nebraska Caregiver Tax Credit and walk you through the steps to successfully submit an application. Let's begin with completing the Family Caregiver Tax Credit application, Form 3165. Form 3165 can be completed by printing off the form and completing the information directly on the form, or can be accessed online at the revenue.nebraska.gov/caregiver-tax-credit-act and typing the information directly into the form to complete. Once the form has been completed, you can print off the form if you plan to mail it in, or save it on your computer if you plan to submit the application online, so you can upload it to the site where you're ready to submit it. Let's look specifically at the form 3165. Section 1 is the tax year of application. You will enter the tax year in which the family caregiver incurred eligible expenditures in supporting the eligible family member. Number 2, Part 1, Family Caregiver. For this section, you will enter the first name and middle initial in the first box of the person that is applying for the credit. The second box will include the last name of the caregiver, followed by the Social Security number in the last box. Next, if you're filing jointly with your spouse, on the second set of lines, you will enter your spouse's first name and middle initial, followed by your last name and their Social Security number. Next, the last two lines include the address, city, state, and zip code of the family caregiver's current residential address. Finally, the last section of Part 1 requires the family caregiver to enter their federally adjusted gross income, which is often referred to as AGI. Enter the federally adjusted gross income from line 5 of your Form 1040N, and this is for the tax year for which the credit will be claimed. If the Form 1040N has not been completed, enter the estimated federal AGI that will be entered on line 5, Form 1040N, for the applicable tax year. To qualify for the credit, your federally adjusted gross income must be less than $100,000 for married filing jointly returns, or $50,000 for all other returns. The approved credit will be disallowed if the actual federally adjusted gross income reported on the Form 1040N exceeds the statutory limits. Part 2 of Form 3165 is the eligible family member. This section of the form is where the family caregiver will enter the information for the family member that is receiving the care. The first line of boxes includes the family member's first name and middle initial, last name, and their Social Security number. The second line of boxes is where you will enter the residential address for the family member that is receiving the care. Family members who live in an assisted living center, nursing facility, or residential care home are not eligible under the caregiver tax credit. The third line of boxes includes their city, state, and zip code. And the last line of boxes requires the family caregiver to confirm the following. First, whether or not the eligible family member is a U.S. veteran. Next, whether or not the eligible family member has been diagnosed with dementia. And third, the relationship to the family caregiver. Those relationships can be, number 1, dependent. A dependent includes any person claimed as a dependent on the family caregiver's federal income tax return for the tax year of application. Number 2, relationship as a spouse. Number 3, relationship as a parent. A parent includes the mother, father, or step-parent of the family caregiver. Number 4, relation by blood or marriage. If this box is checked, a description will need to be entered to explain the relationship to the family caregiver. That description will need to be related by blood, which includes the following other relationships by blood to the family caregiver: grandparents, aunt, uncle, sister, brother, niece, nephew, or grandchild. Step persons bearing these relationships are also considered included. Other relation by blood or marriage means any other relation by marriage to the family caregiver, which includes any person who bears any of the above. Relations by blood to the spouse and parent or step-parent of the spouse of the family member. Lastly, the number of eligible family members that are claiming the tax credit will also need to be filled in. If only one family member is claiming the credit, you will insert a 1. If more than one family member is claiming the credit, you will enter the number Please note that if the credit is being claimed by more than one eligible family member, the credit will be divided equally between all eligible and approved family members. Part 3, Eligible Expenditures. For this section, the family caregiver will need to enter the following: the type of expenditure, the vendor name, a description of the eligible expenditures, the date of the expenditure, and the amount of the expenditure. It's important to note that a receipt for each expenditure that is being filed will need to accommodate the application form to verify the expenditure. Failure to provide supporting documentation for each eligible expenditure will delay the processing of the application or cause the application to be denied. Part 4 of Form 3165 is the credit computation. In column A, you will enter the total amount of eligible expenditures that you entered in Part 3, column E. Column B is where you will multiply Part 4 from column A, that amount by 50%, and then enter the amount. Column C. For this column, you will enter the lesser of the Part 4, column B amount of the maximum credit amount of $2,000 or $3,000 if the eligible family member is a veteran or diagnosed with dementia. Part 6. Signature and email address. The final section of the application requires the family caregiver to sign the application, date the application, and include a phone number as well as an email address. It's important to note by entering an email address, the family caregiver acknowledges that the Department of Revenue may contact them by email. If the family caregiver does not wish to be contacted by email, writing opt out on the line labeled email address is required. If the family caregiver opts out of the email address, the Department of Revenue will communicate via phone and mail as a last resort. The last section of Form 3165, Section 7, is the Department of Revenue Use Only section. The family caregiver will not complete this section. This section has been set aside for the Department of Revenue for processing and approving the application that has been submitted. That completes Form 3165.